gets heavy tonight, in a realm where the sun fades behind the fight. Every scar is a story, every tear is a flame. In this game of survival, nothing stays the same. We break, we fall, but we rise again. Through shattered hopes and the cries of men. Through the darkness, through the pain, we'll build again. We'll stand through the rain. The trials may come, but I won't bow. This is my fight and I'll make it somehow. The road is long, the nights are cold, but the dreams I carry burn like gold. In the chaos, I found my place, a spark of hope in the empty space. We've lost so much, we've given more, but through the trials we'll restore. Through the darkness, through the pain, we'll build again. We'll stand through the rain. The trials may come, but I won't bow. This is my fight and I'll make it somehow. Every fall, we learn to stand. Through the darkness, through the pain, we'll build again. We'll stand through the rain. The trials may come, but I won't bow. This is my fight and I'll make it somehow. Make it somehow. Make it somehow.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Pax Dei, Steel. Right now, I'm hunting. I'm about to take on a bear. So, welcome everyone. Tonight we're talking about how players and developers craft stories in MMOs. Hopefully, the storytelling and is an art in the workplace. I'll talk about focus, length, and drafting impactful stories. And the last thing we'll talk about is pursuing your life story and setting goals 1, 5, and 10 minutes out. So what's the most memorable story you've experienced in a game or told in real life? Let's not get too personal here, but share it in the chat if you want. Or in the comments. Alright, let's see. We're going to go right into storytelling mode, but I'm going to show everybody how to kill a bear again. If you haven't seen it, bears are actually not that difficult. Really? If you can hit them. And I'm drawing it away from the other bear. And then you back up, come in. You don't need a spear to do this, but it works well. I shouldn't be taking any damage, but I'm in the wrong position and I'm on a hill. All these things do take into effect, so keep that in mind as you're drawing animals to you. Sun Tzu said it best: fight the enemy where you want to fight them, not where they want to fight you. And on the road is actually a really flat area, so I will enjoy a little bit here. Notice my health and stamina. Oh, we got through. Interesting. About to start something. And I was reviewing in a party with one of the alchemists that is in one of the clans I work with, and he brought up a really good point as he was using his health potions, and because he was a lower level alchemist, and he was using a lower level potion, but it was very effective. And I want to bring that up because it was such a great revelation. Because wow, I took way too much damage in that. That's all right. I'm looking for skins, everybody. And bear meat is always good. And they drop a lot of wool. Don't need pork carts. Alright. So, right now I have 2 healing potions. One is a minor health tonic, which gives you 60 hit points right away. And the other one, it gives you 80 health right away. Both are cooldown 1 minute. So for a quick health boost, you want these. The higher level one that I use actually is heal over time, which isn't bad, but it's not great in certain situations, right? I thought this was a bear. That's okay. I didn't time it right. That's my own fault. I took way too much damage there. Fighting boar. That's alright. There's an animal hide there, and that's what I'm out here for, so I will be dropping stuff. Like I said, in this game, you really want to, as you're going through the game, and you have limited resource capability, you want to stay out as long as possible in order to farm the resources. Close to the deer. But in doing so, you're going to have to give up certain other resources as, I call them, sacrifices to the goddess, because that's what they are. Or other players if they follow along. And there is a strategy. I can't believe I'm coming up with this strategy, but there is a strategy. You can follow an experienced player, and whatever they drop and they don't collect, so long as it's fair game, you can pick it up. And that would actually be like a scavenger class, if you will. That's actually kind of a cool idea. For role-playing, that would be really cool, too. I can see that working really well. What I'm looking through is, I just want to make sure there's no animal hides. The rough animal hides I don't need. What I want is the animal hides. And I'm actually starting to head back to base. But I definitely want to get caught up with some high-grade. I didn't hear the impact. Usually hear the impact. I hear them here. So once again, go to where you think is a good spot and then engage. You'll see the kite Well, people say it's a kite. I say it's a combat strategy. I don't think it's a kite. What's your opinion in chat? I don't think it's a kite. Kiting is a little different, in my opinion. This is more like using strategy and the bear's motion to actually overcome the disadvantage of it having 400 hit points. See, I came in too early there. But here's the advantage of those potions. I go right up to the hit points. So as long as I don't take over 60 on the one and over 80 on the other. Gotta get it back into the cycle. I really want this spear to go up in level because I'm sick and tired of it not doing its max damage, which is at 40. Might actually call create a song called Bear Slayer. Or Beer Slayer. Or both. That'd be fun. Alright, see, there's 2 large animal hides. And basically, I just make the sacrifice. Suet, I have plenty there. I think it's Suet. Yeah, Suet. And I didn't pick, oh, look at that. We're gonna kill more. So you're getting a little bit of show before. This is gonna be 24. It should be alright. But I will take them with my shield and one-handed spear. In this current spear iteration, I am at 40, but there's better one-handed spears at higher levels of weaponsmithing that I gotta get to. And most of those are steel. Me and a clan I know, the one that I'm thinking about joining, we went to the Old Forest, I think it's called. I was corrected today. I call it the Ancient Forest. Oh man, that was my bad. Ah, there we go. And in the Ancient Forest, or the Old Forest, you can get 3 diamond or 4 diamond resources. Okay. Alright. Let's see, where am I going? Did I get turned around? I always get turned around in combat too. Nah, I need to go this way. We're good. Alright. So tonight, the first thing is storytelling in MMOs. So if you're writing a story, or you're actually part of the story, or if you're crafting part of the story, but crafting it at the same time, because that's, if you're role-playing, you can do that, right? And it's very cool if you do. What are your essential elements? Well, there's 3, in my opinion. Characters, who's driving the story. Your character in Pax Dei drives the story. Which story? Because there's multiple, right? But overall, your character is driving the story. Without your character, there's not really a story. Ah, I totally missed that. Sometimes just take the shot, but you don't have to rush it. You gotta be careful, because I don't want to leave any animal skins behind. And it's a bear, so it's a character thing. Emphyr really wants the bear meat. And these bears are not that tough. They're 34s, mind you. Still not that tough. Oh, and I didn't take my meal, so I might use a healing potion here. If he gets into me. And see, I missed that second shot. You can miss in this game, it's not a guarantee. That's another reason why I like this game, is you're not auto-hitting. And it usually means that I'm either looking down too much or looking up too much if I'm fighting on a hill. See? Glad I hit that one. There we go. And then I'm waiting for my cooldown. But yeah, character is definitely an important factor of a story. Without a character, you're pretty much not telling a story. Alright, after this bear I can continue because I need to look at my notes. I didn't memorize it. I've always tried to learn storytelling. I was a DM, still, I guess I still am, I just don't have a group. I love storytelling, and I love getting everybody involved in that story. Alright, what can I draw? I can definitely have that. Wool fiber would be worth it. Okay. Where I'm gonna cross the river here soon, so I don't think there's anything that I really wanna kill from here to where I usually launch myself. There is another wolf over there, but not a big deal. Knowing the territory, and that's one of the things I think Emphyr is more than anything else, is he's a ranger, right? I try to play him as a ranger scout kind of deal. Although his favorite weapon is a two-handed sword, which I see rangers with two-handed swords in the forest fighting. That would be difficult. It'd be more difficult in dungeons and castles, so think about the wide-ranging attack of a two-handed sword. I hate those possibles. It's a measure. There's the... I might take them real quick, because I'm really out of here for this. Rough in one, and... Rough in one. Where are you? Remember, take your time. There's no rush. Don't have to fight things close. Don't. Now, a party could. This thing would have been dead by now. 3 people doing, 20 hit points of damage per. You're definitely going to take these things out quickly. And remember your special attacks. Just because they're animals does not matter. Tactics should be pretty much the same, no matter if it's animal or, I guess, human. Your PvEs are Inquisitors, Zebians, and what's the third one? I can't remember now. It's because I probably hardly ever fight it, so there's that. Wow. I was so cocky on that one that I totally missed it. I'm almost at my house. There's one more wolf. Then we can really start our conversation. Am I starting? No, that's deer. I don't need any more deer meat. I've got a lot of deer meat. So much deer meat. Just so much. I wanted to get a higher position. And remember, use the terrain to your advantage. It would be unwise for anybody not to do that. I totally missed. Twice. That's alright. It's gonna take longer to kill him. Wow, he missed, I think. Notice I backed up and I missed that attack. He should have got me there, I think. That's alright. I'd rather the game realize that... Man, I missed again. There we go. I'm so used to double tapping that I... Oh well. Alright, so, characters. the central elements. There's three essential elements: characters, conflict, and resolution. So conflict, what challenge or goals, or goal, more than likely goal. You just want one goal in a story. If you do a story the other way, I'm not sure it would be that great. That's all right. Because when you talk about goals, multiple things that happening in a story depends on the complexity of the story. You can do it for sure, but your reader and or audience, depending on how you storytell, and we'll go into that, could get lost in the multiple goals. So, what is it? What goal, what challenge drives the narrative forward? Resolution: how is the conflict resolved or the goal achieved? So these are three things you can just put to the side, and every moment that you're writing the story, you want to maybe refer to them, right? Just to get an idea where you are in the story. Let's see. Building relatability and stakes. Relatability. Why should the audience care about the story in the first place? And as many of us know during our storytelling or going to the movies, if the movie doesn't capture us in the trailer, then we probably won't go see the movie. And that's the same here. What is your relatability to the audience that you're trying to write or entertain? Keep that in mind as well as we go through these things. Oh man, I always forget food. You cannot hit the right. Pick up the mouse so you can get. That's I'm not offended by it or anything. Stakes. What does the character stand to gain or lose? An engagement problem. Oh, that's for you guys. I write these things down before, just so I can have an idea of where the actual podcast is going. So here's another question for everybody. What story elements do you focus on when creating your own MMO adventures? So with those elements, we're ready to go into some other interesting parts of the storytelling. But let's reflect on this. How many movies or stories really conform or have these elements, right? And to me, it's important that these elements be in. It should be in, right? And could you call them by a different name, or could it be a little bit different than what I'm or how I'm stating it? Absolutely, 100%. I'm not here to the academic argument. I'm here just to have a conversation and learn from it, because every time I do research into certain things, I learn from those certain things. And this is one of those things, because I love storytelling. And if you think about the characters that you create, especially in Pax Dei or even role-playing games, you have to provide the DM a conflict. The MMO will give you the conflicts for your character. For example, the bear fights, right? That's a conflict for my character. Do I overcome it, or do I just avoid bear fights, etc.? Right? I think you get the idea there. But ultimately, what do we do as far as driving or challenging ourselves within the game? A great challenge for somebody in Pax Dei would be, I want to be the insert best profession. Maybe you want to be a master at arms. So a master at arms would be able to have every combat skill up to 40. That would be cool, right? Master at Arms. Or if you wanted to just do great mauls and maces. Or if you just wanted to do great axes and axes. Pole arms and hand spears, right? There's two right there, right? And then, of course, swords and great swords. So you have different masteries and challenges that you can adapt to your character within Pax Dei and derive like a weapons master. I want to be a weapons master. Okay, cool. That's your challenge or goal. Or if you wanted to do a profession, you could do that as well, right? I want to be the best alchemist in the game. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to be a level 40 alchemist, right? With the exceptions of mining and woodcutting, because with why I say there are exceptions, you can reach level 40 pretty quickly on both because you're going to do a lot of mining and a lot of woodcutting. Now, where this wouldn't apply, and we've said this in earlier podcasts, is as the game grows in popularity, you might not need to mine or woodcut. Somebody else might be doing it for you. So those professions might actually be a character goal. So a lot of different flexibility here with conflict that your character can go in. Maybe there's infinite numbers of stories that you can come up with, or challenges or goals that drive whatever narrative forward. In this case, in Pax Dei, would be quote unquote life, right? Resolution, because it's open ended, right? That's why I said life, right? It's open ended. Resolution. How is the conflict resolved or the goal achieved? Well, that is the day to day, right? So you are building on the story of Pax Dei. That's why I created Emphyr. His story will resound. He wants to work with steel. So how does he do that? Right? And that's where the search from steel came from. Pretty cool, right? Alright. Let's see. And then of course the relatability. Why should an audience care about the story? And that's one of my biggest I fight with that every day, right? Because I have this podcast. I really want people to get involved in podcasts. So what's the relatability? Well, right now I have a small core audience that are Pax Dei players. Thank you, bottom of my heart. I love it. That's why I pepper in the leadership or these more interesting tidbits of philosophy and other useful tools within not only the game but maybe in your life. And you'll see coming up in your professional life. And I say professional life, but it could be any part of your life. How storytelling is going to affect those around you, and how you can better relay your ideas to people. So if you're an introvert or an extrovert, it doesn't matter, right? So what are the stakes? What does the character stand to gain or lose? In an MMO, rep with other players is really where what you gain to stand or lose, right? Because in Pax Dei, if you die, you go back to a stone or your home resurrection stone. And that's okay. Those mechanics are great for the game, but for the story, there's no life or death, right? Not permanent life or death. Now, in emergent gameplay, which is what we're talking about, we can derive different stories, right? These are stories or tales that a bard would sing back at a tavern or an inn. Guild wars, alliances. They create the unscripted and memorable stories, the journey to a far-off land, or to create go get a material or kill the NPCs the evil NPCs. These all will be emergent stories within the game, if you think about it, you have a lot of story there, right? You can't kill, quote unquote, all the Inquisitors because they spawn. So if the Inquisitors killed your parents' storyline is going on, you're never gonna solve that, and that's not good for the story. You definitely want an endpoint to the story, and the endpoint not I'm stopping the game. A goal that you can a story that you can do out of emergent gameplay might be that you join a guild and you really like the guild life, and you say to yourself, maybe you're in an RPG server, this guild is great, I want to help run it one day, right? So you start that journey down to create that story based off of coming up into the clan and trying to get into the officer position or an officer position. I want to be in charge of all the blacksmiths and weaponsmiths and armorsmiths. However the clan is designed, that would be a player-driven narrative, right? Then you have what I was mentioning before, the developer crafted narratives, right? Now these aren't as fun, in my opinion, and I think they would take the game to a different direction than many of the players would want. What I mean by that is, right now it's a sandbox. I don't have to. The developers have provided the world. We are providing the story. And I think that's great. So if the developers create quests, like that would be an NPC type of thing, right? Quest givers. Or how the world's built is a integral part of us crafting the player-driven narratives, and it's important. So all these create immersive stories, and when you create an immersive story, what happens? Your player base stays. You attract players, right? So all this shaping of the world by the developers will do more for their player base than having NPCs created and quests given by them, right? A daily quest is really bothersome. It's just a daily quest. You're doing it all the time. Yesterday I said, if AI was introduced and NPCs were introduced into Pax Dei, I think it would be the greatest thing since sliced bread. An NPC could come to you and say, hey, I need their meat, right? Or if the developers created such an AI where they crafted a bear that takes a kid but doesn't kill him, and then your party has to go hunt the wild bear, that would be kind of cool. Those little narrative things that where developers could integrate into the natural world would craft the story based off of developers than players, but it would be fun, right, for the player. It's not shoehorned in, and it doesn't happen on a schedule. That's the other thing that you don't want to. When players see schedules, some players will do the schedule for the benefit of that quest. However, and that you might be into that. That's where no shade is being thrown here. Most players want variability. I've done this quest 100 times. Please give me something else. Right? And even the tiny quests would be fun for higher level, given the story around it. So what in other MMOs other than Pax Dei, let me put this in the chat. What is the most impactful story you've experienced in an MMO? There's a lot of Baldur's Gate is one that comes to mind. Honestly, I love Baldur's Gate. It wasn't as It wasn't a free roam or sandbox, but it really excelled in its story. Not only did it excel in its story, it gave you different paths, a lot of different paths in the story, which was really impressive. And I think most people would agree who played, you can play that thing 100 times. If you made different choices through that 100 times, you'll have a somewhat different story. The main storyline is going to be the main storyline, but you still get there different ways, right? Which I think is incredible. And I don't know if we'll see it again. Because Larian Studios, I believe it was. Doing it wrong. Larian Studios did just a phenomenal job. And those voice actors are incredibly skilled, and I'll give absolute props to the person who was providing me, or who scouted them out. What do we call these guys? Put in the chat if you remember. Yeah, so I think Pax Dei is a emergent gameplay series, and I want it to stay that way. It will be so fun if it stays that way. Not to say it won't be fun without that. It's more fun as player narratives than it is with anything else, in my opinion. Oh, I got some there. I got that bug where I'm always in defensive position. I hate that so much. There we go. Perfect. I gotta go find more lemongrass, but I won't do that during your time. Not the podcast time. I'm just putting away some stuff for my quest. Needed stuff. And these are really daily quests for me, right? Getting firewood is a daily quest. Yes, it is. You know, smelting stuff is a daily quest. And this is one of the actions, like repairing weapons after an adventure or a hunt, because I'm coming back from a hunt. I just think is the most awesome thing. I love doing it. I think it just adds to the entire the real, not the realism. I don't care about realism, honestly. Let me get rid of these things. They're useless. Try to. But the yeah, I love this game. I hope they get lots of money and lots of players, because I think a lot of players will enjoy this as well. Let me do this while we're in between the art of storytelling and storytelling in general. Let me get into my clothes or home. A little detail I do love about this game, and it makes all of the skills and professions relevant. Because if I didn't have tailoring, I would go to a tailor, would give me a makeover, or have home clothes. I think that would be really cool. I think everybody should do it on a role-playing server, especially. And let me show you as well, because I want to show you the upstairs that I crafted. I think you guys. I'll wait on that. Oh no, I can't wait. I can't wait on that. Told everybody I went to the old forest. It's good for good reason. It's the clan I went with. It's good enough to provide some ingots. Or not ingots, but raw ore that we gathered. So I have that. No, that's too much. That's alright. This will make steel. So. Yeah, I didn't think I had enough charcoal for them steel. But I do in the other area. So we'll go to get the other area. This isn't more a daily task than it is just awesomeness. The only place you can get pure iron ore other than the PvP area is in the forest. And you can go there alone. It's not exactly a pleasant place. You can go there alone and be successful. But it is very deadly. But it also takes a lot of charcoal to make steel. So as we're talking, I might go back out to chop some wood. Be the lumberjack. I'm a lumberjack. Funny Python. Awesome. Song gets a little crazy. That's alright. We're all a little crazy. So I have... How many of these things? I wanted to say, the last count I had, it's 10. Is that about? I have 8. Alright. That's okay. I'll correct myself next time I see the coin. He's like, I have 10 and I'm alone. That's... see if we can do this. I mean, how much will the coal... Yes, the coal did, That's awesome. That's a lot of steel. I'll give probably half to the other planet because they went down with me. I wouldn't have got half as much. So I'm happy they were there and we were able to get so much. There was an area that you had to fight a major amount of monsters to get through, and yeah. Let me put this away. I gotta decide what I'm gonna make upstairs. So what I don't want to do is... Where did I put the glass? I don't think I put it in here. No, I put the sand in there. I'd like to keep organized. I don't think it was over here. Ingots. Was it upstairs? No, it wasn't upstairs, because I wanted to keep it near the blacksmith bench. I know I did. I just put this wherever at this point. That's right. I don't think it was up there. Might have been in here. No. Not in there. There it is. There. We got plenty of glass for little stuff. Alright. Let's take a pause. And I'll show you upstairs. That's what I want to do real quick. Alright, so to show you upstairs, I'm actually going to go on this hill. And then we'll go upstairs. Beautiful scenery. And as we peek, look at that roof. I had to support that roof a lot, but it looks good. Got a little soffits on the front and the back. So technically that thing is 4 stories. We got the basement level, which is where all my boxes are. And then the second level where the workstation. Third level is common area. And the fourth level is where I live. Well, where I sleep, where I rest my head. My fortress of solitude. So we walk up here, and I still gotta light this and burnish it. I wanted to keep this one as I wanted to keep this as free from the columns as possible. So up here, though, I had to place more support columns because the weight was a little bit more of a determining factor. So I made this hallway into my master bedroom. And I put some expensive wooden cabinets here. They take a lot to make, but I made them last world. I can't make them in this world yet, I don't think. If I can, they're steel. So I put little planters around to give me a little bit of color. Got the wraparound porch. I'm going to put some lights on those. That's why they're... I don't know what kind of lights. Probably the antlers. In here, I'll put a chandelier or two. I'll connect it to a beam across the roof. But yeah, that's it. Pretty cool, right? You too can do this. Maybe I'll do a construction video sometime. Maybe, well, in the new world, when it goes 1.0, you'll definitely see that. Alright, so what about I'm going to call it the art of storytelling in work and life? Well, components of an effective story, you have to have elements, right? We have a couple key elements to really focus on. What are their length, focus, and meaning? Length, let's keep it concise. 1 to 3 minutes is ideal for a professional setting. Focus, identify the main takeaway or message before you start drafting. And why I mean drafting is because I'm going to tell you later, you're going to write stories down. Many people, when asked during interviews, they'll say, yeah, hey, give us a story about this. And they have one, but they really didn't think about it, right? Or they may have thought about one, but what about another? How many stories would you have? And I'm here to tell you, you probably have, in your professional life, at least a story a week. I couldn't see you now. Right? We need that up. Take some damage. Wood. Chop wood. I do definitely want to eat. Not that I need to, but I like to have a little bit of it would be nice. There. Alright. Meaning, connect the story to the listener to the listener's perspective. Again, relatability, right? We're still talking about relatability even at work. If the story doesn't relate to somebody, you have lost that listener. They're not going to listen. Even if the story's message is pertinent to them. Let's see. Oh, and here's my favorite. Avoid overwhelming details in your story. Detail is important, but detail focus, if not aligned with the story, it'll muddy the waters, right? To put simply. Example. Instead of listing every task in the project, focus on the challenge and how you resolved it. So if somebody asks you, what happened in this project? Well, here's the challenge and here's how I saw it. But we take the components from the last we spoke, right? The essential characters, conflict, resolution. right? It still provides a little bit of uh, uh, content, right? Or relatability. To get a little bit more detailed, there's been a big I don't know if I should call it a corporate buzzword or, but it is a good storytelling technique in professional, maybe personal life as well. For personal life, I should try this actually. All right, so draft a short story, and we're talking about drafting. Literally write it down. Get the thoughts formed in your head. You've lived it, but you haven't written it down, right? So when you write it down, you're able to remember it in its sequence. You might remember it out of its sequence and go, "Ah, no, that didn't happen that way. Let me think of it a different way, and then maybe write it down in a different sequence." So, situation, set the stage. Task, identify the problem or goal. Action, share the steps you took. Result, highlight the outcome and why it mattered. It used to be called, well, it still is, called the STAR method. It is widely used and widely taught. I don't think there's anything we should deviate from. There might be a better storytelling method. But for us who are starting out as storytellers, this might be the method that helps you or provides the most guidance to you, where you can evolve the storytelling method if you need to. But the STAR method is easy to remember. It's situation, task, action, and result. All right, let's see. Oh. I'm glad I... Wow. I need my skinning up. I don't need all of this, but I need my skinning up, so... It dies for my benefit. Alright. Imagine if he did this, how many things would die because he wanted it. He wanted skins. Alright. Wow, so much death. No, I'm kidding. Alright. Those are the two big ones over here. I just want to get these little... Oh, that was one shot. Alright. So... I keep telling the channel to look at and reach out or give some love. Subscribe to his channel for sure. He is amazing. Bin Gang is a communications expert. And he got there very impressively one day. Just he did it. He tells the story better than I could. So go to his channel. Highly recommended. You don't have to agree with everything, and quite frankly, you shouldn't. This channel is to let's say it. We want you to critically think. I looked at this guy's background, I listened to him, some things I agree with, some things I don't. But ultimately, he says, writing stories about daily interactions, use everyday experiences as inspiration for future conversations or interviews. Observing teamwork during a raid in Pax Dei and relating it to the workplace. Collaboration, right? So you can take the MMO element into the workplace. Very powerful too, because nowadays many people game, so a lot of people can relate to aspects. Did I just clear cut this entire side? So many of the people around you will be able to relate. They'll be able to say, "Oh yeah, I've been on raids, I've been on party evolutions. Hey, that story was pretty good. I can totally see that happen." So what a lot of people don't do this next one. And I'm included in them. Practice. Vin says practice. And I agree with him. Writing stories helps you clarify your thoughts and improve the delivery. I mentioned that earlier. Why did I mention that earlier? Because when I listened to Vin, he really knows how to speak, and I am able to relate very easily to communications and what he's saying. Wow, a little lag, huh? So let's see. Here's an example. A well-crafted story about overcoming a setback in an MMO can translate into a compelling narrative about work-based resilience. So you can kind of draft that into a story, which is kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of cool because it takes the pressure off of people who think that they need a workplace story in order to make an association. Would I use a MMO in an interview? I'd have to know where I am in the interview process, who's being interviewed, what kind of job position it was, but I wouldn't discount it. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. He's not going to see me, so I give one shot. Come on. There we go. There we go. Like you would practice in Pax Dei, practice your storytelling. But it's so true, right? I mean, if you're really honest with yourself and you think about what I'm saying, it makes a lot of sense. All right, let's see. Oh, here's he even goes even further because he's also a very subtle life coach. He really is. So for daily practice, set aside 5 minutes a day to write each story about recent experience. Focus on the themes like teamwork, problem solving, and personal growth. And then revise and refine. Review and edit your stories to emphasize clarity and impact. One of the best tools you can use for this, and I'm a big advocate of AI, huge. Write the story and then ask the AI not to grade it, but to react to it like a colleague would. And what happens is, or less academically, right? So AI has prompting, become a prompt engineer because you can use the AI to tell you if your story has impact and what impact. For example, if I write a story and I put it through AI and say, hey, what would you take away from this story? It'll read the story and it'll give you the main points and subjects that it takes away. And that's great feedback if you don't have anybody, right next to you, or you don't want to bother somebody like a family member or a friend to read your story. Or maybe you just don't want to do it that way. The AI will help you and it's amazing. It's a great tool. Use AI as a tool. And when I say put it into an AI, like a ChatGPT, a large language model, an LLM, it is one of the best ways to tell a story. Because and when I say one of the best ways, practicing is one of the best ways of telling a story. People who tell really good stories have either practiced them or have told so many stories that they're that good at compiling the components of the story and making them or putting them in such order where you can follow and become interested. Relatability is huge. Big, 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 big. If it's not relatable, how many unrelatable stories from colleagues have you just tuned out? Like, I'm just gonna scroll through Twitter. Thanks a lot. Engagement in your story means people are looking at you, listening, actively listening to you. They are prepared to they're actively listening, not passively listening. So check him out. Ben is, I don't know him personally. Man, his channel just speaks to me on a lot of different levels every time. Absolutely phenomenal. Well, gonna do fine. I was chopping trees. And like, where am I going with this wood? That means I am doing too many tasks at once. So I hope you get a lot out of this storytelling, especially Vin's help. I hope you can use that, write down that star method and as an outline, fill out the S, the T, the A, and the R. And then what you do with that is you refine it into a digestible story. Right? And that's where the second part comes in. You know what? I at first didn't think I was going to get enough heartwood to do what I needed to do with build my house. And I have chests full of heartwood, so I'm very happy with the choice of where I lived. In the other world, I had a lot of heartwood. But here I'm not doing too bad. And I gotta give some kudos. Notice all those trees came back. That's alright. I'm gonna go bigger trees. I'm getting a bigger boat. Alright, drafting story. Let me do this before I do that. I'm going to take a sip of Zevia or chug Zevia. Non-sponsored spot Zevia. But it is a great cola. It's 0 calorie with 0 sugar. It uses stevia plant to sweeten it, and there's no artificial colors or flavor. Well, there's artificial flavors, but not. It's one of the better sodas for you out there, I suppose I can say. And I've been talking the entire time I've been running. All right. I'm not going to chop a tree down with that. All right. So drafting stories for interviews. This is important. Please listen to me. Understanding your audience is the biggest part of this. Tailor the story to what the interviewer or listener cares about. And this is where it becomes important to have 100 stories in your portfolio. And then select from the 100, because you will have at least one that the interviewer or listener is going to relate to or care about. Balancing detail and focus is important. So as you're writing these stories, you might write for an interview versus write your stories down in general. Well, what does that mean? Include enough context to engage the listener, but avoid the tangents. Sometimes, if we don't write it down and we don't have it rehearsed, we'll go off on a tangent. And being a DM, I swear, you might not expect the listener, or you might, to focus on one of those tangents and take you down a road that really is irrelevant to the story. Once you do that, you lose your listener. Although, once you do that, you also gain the knowledge, always positive, that you now know what the interest of the listener is. So keep that in mind. Turn everything into a positive. This world's full of negative. You might as well try to get everything to a positive. All right. Here's a tip. Test your story on a friend or colleague to see if it is engaging and clear. Also, AI tool. But you're going to have to be not very good. You have to be good at prompt engineering to get the response get the response from the AI. Not that you want, but that you need. All right, let's see. Here's a couple practical examples. Draft an interview story based on the star map. Situation. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Situation. We faced a major production delay. Task. I was tasked with reorganizing the schedule. It's a huge task. I'm a project manager myself, so. Action. I work closely with the team to reprioritize the task and communicate updates. Result. We delivered the project ahead of the revised deadline, saving $50,000. Now, they chose to give. I chose to give a positive example, but you can also give a negative example, right? Just try not to do that in interviews. One of the things that interviewers like to hear is nice success stories. They don't necessarily like to know all the failures. Although I hope to change the culture because failure is great. I'd rather somebody fail, understand why they fail, and hire that person because they know they're not gonna they're not gonna do it again because they learned from it, right? So if somebody's successful all the time, you're gonna be like, oh, that's unusual, not unwanted, just unusual. So in this example, notice very short, succinct. You can do that within 1 to 2 minutes, and in an interview, tongue twister, that's of paramount importance because you may only have 30 minutes to convey that you're the best candidate for the job or the position. I like calling things jobs. Go for positions, not jobs. There are jobs. I totally would concede that. But position sounds better. It makes you feel good too. All right. So when you draft an interview story based on the star system or star method, just keep it short, 1 to 2 minutes. Keep it concise. Again, situation, task, action, and result. All right. Let's see what else is going on here, other than me running 200 yards to get to the other tree. Let me stop. There we go. All right. I need a little bit of more of that. And okay, I was hoping I didn't need to drop anything. So there we go. All right. Sorry about that. Viewers. All right. I'm trying to get to the other screen because I have this in outline so I can talk to it. In a podcast, it's 2 hours or wants to be 2 hours. I like to, it'll be longer, or I want to keep it at 2 hours, and hopefully hopefully this catches on and the live viewers will have an interaction. So I'll need the 2 hours to communicate the information. But right now it's fun just playing the game and talking to an audience. Thanks for watching. You know, I don't hear a lot of podcasters saying it, but I'm sure they do appreciate it. I hope they appreciate it. There's so many choices on the internet right now that choosing to spend time, or precious time with me, is humble. And hopefully you get a nugget of knowledge and philosophy out of it. We're all here to make our lives better. Somebody, there was a YouTuber years ago. Now I can't remember his name, but he was really good. Oh, I just noticed that I had a beehive. I don't need a beehive. He was great. He did fitness. I hope he's doing well because he was just fantastic. I learned a lot of workout knowledge from him, but he also said, live your best life. Be your best self, right? That doesn't mean that you need to hurt anybody in pursuit of that. He never said that. He just was like, take care of yourself. Live your best life. And I was like, that's really impactful. I love it. And I'm hoping that this channel can help you live your best. All right, let's see. Here's a great topic. We're gonna start pursuing your life story. We'll start the next chapter. Let's see. So, questions to ask yourself, right? Because this is all aimed at your elevator pitch for strangers or people you just met. Strangers, right? Or an interviewer, or just somebody you meet. You want to be able to have that quick story you can tell. So, what questions to ask yourself? What is the story you want your life to tell? Oh, I'm sorry. We're going into the bigger picture. The third topic here tonight was the big picture about life. Remember about I wanted to definitely talk about everybody's ability to have a better life, right? So this is part of it, and storytelling is going to help you, which is going to be great, right? I'm going to be so close to this, I can taste it. Some trees behind me, so. This tree. All right, so one of the things you want to do when you're looking at planning your life, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. Up to now, what was your story? Well, now we're taking that story, we're going to craft it into a future story. So ask yourself, what story do you want your life to tell? How do your actions today align with your goals? Themes to explore. You want to look at growth, resilience, contribution, or adventure. Sky's the limit with your life. All right, let's set the goals for 1, 5, and 10 years. Actually, let's talk a little bit more about defining the narrative, because it's so important, right? If you think about it, few of us, I'm sure some of us have, but few of us have actually sat down and said, you know what? I'm going to look at my life 1, 5, and 10 years from now and see where I want to be. I mentioned this in an earlier podcast. Do not set unrealistic goals. Don't say in 1 year, I want to be the president of the United States. Well, A, there was just an election, so that's impossible. And B, unless you're already on course as a congressman, senator, local politician, the odds of you becoming president are, in 1 year, are low to impossible. Name recognition is a big thing. But I think you get my point about exaggerating your goals. People do it all the time on New Year's resolutions. Then they fail the New Year's resolution. And what did they learn? I don't like doing New Year's resolutions. The failure is not the problem. It's when you set such a high expectation of yourself, that failure is the only option, really. Some people set the bar too low. Some people set the bar too high. Most people set the bar too high. Very few people set the bar too low. Although those people who set the bar too low achieve their goal. And then next time they might, if they have a healthy outlook on life, they might set their bar a little bit higher. Their goal must be a little bit more complex, a little higher. And that's okay. And that's what you want, right? So when you look at what story do you want to tell your life to tell? You're not asking it what you want to. You're asking it what your life is going to tell somebody else. Right? If somebody came up and said, "Hey, what's your life? What's your life going to tell?" I'm hoping that I've crafted my short-term goal in such a way that my podcast will reach some people and help them through their reasoning, and also help them through maybe a struggle, and say, you know what, I should think of it this way, or I have to improve my communication skills. Maybe I'll check out this Vin guy. And that would be amazing for me. That would, if I were to die tomorrow and somebody said, you know, wow, that guy did this for me and did that for me, I'd be very, very proud, because I want to touch people's lives in ways that they can overcome. Meaning, I'm going to teach you how to fish, not give you the fish. And isn't that what we all want? We all want to be a little bit we want to be self-reliant, especially in the United States. It's the whole ball of wax for us. A lot of times we're the frontiersmen, right? Or that's what we strive to be from our ancestry. So, growth. What kind of growth do you want in your lifetime? Your resilience. If you fail, how many times did you get back up? Right? What is your resilience? How many times am I going to fail at something? Maybe, for example, you're going to learn that instrument. Set realistic goals for the time you have to practice. And then over time, if you fail and fail and fail, how long do you keep practicing that instrument? That's your resilience. Your contribution or adventure, right? So what's your contribution to the world, to the community, to your family, to, just insert the community or the contribution of where you can contribute here. Adventure, maybe you want to skydive. It's like, cool. But what does it take? You're going to have to do a lot of research in order to find out what it actually takes to skydive. And I can tell you from my personal research a couple of years ago, it's not the easiest thing, but it's also not the hardest thing. All right. Got some lots of cold. I should go get you some play as well. Wow, I'm resource gathering. Do I have a lot of... Wow. Crazy. Usually I don't have this much wood. Because I'm burning it. Usually the coal fires. That's alright. Maybe I won't have to go get as much. What is that one? It's already refined. Oops. Maybe I'll put it here. Yeah. I really wish they had a utility that said place all. They got take all. They just don't have place all. That's alright. Alright. I can repair my axe and put it away. There we go. That's all I need to do is go over here and get some clay. And go over the other way and get some clay. And hope the place, right? Alright. Alright, what else do we have? So let's talk about those 1, 5, and 10-year goals. How do you figure it, right? Yeah, you gotta go through these. which is kind of cool. Wouldn't you have to do that in real life? Yes, you would. Let's see. Okay. So the 1 year plan. Focus. So when you're about to write this, you want to focus or think about it. Focus on the short term. Achievable goals. I'm going to stress that again. I can't stress that enough. Achievable goals within the first year. Example, completing a certification or building a new habit. Well, part of this channel is you're going to have to research a little bit, right? And this is part of the research. How do you build a new habit in the first year? What's the best way to go about it? Do some research. It'll save you so much time, and it will provide... Oh, that's all right. I love the dramatic music for war. Alright. I don't need that again. Let's see. So, in the chat or in the comment section, what are good goals that are achievable for the first year for you? I thought there was another one up there somewhere. I mean, I'll take the coin. And lag is a little bit, my frames per second is a little bit down, so forgive me on that. Everything looks like a blur. I hate blurs. All right. Now, many people, with the exception that I said, meaning achievable goals, many people can really come up with a 1 year goal, okay? or goals. But they have, if you're selecting multiple goals, please keep in mind that you need to make them achievable, all of them. You don't want to sit there and try to achieve something or many things. And did I want the... Oh, I wanted more shingles. That's right. We'll just get more shingles. There we go. And my flag goes in here. There we go. Alright. Let them bake a little bit as we go do stuff. Alright, so let's get to the 5 year. Because I know people are chomping at the bit. You're like, just get to the 5 year, man. 1 year, like I said, it's an easier exercise. What are we going to achieve in the next year? What's our goals? 5 year. Build midterm objectives that reflect personal or professional growth. Example, advancing your career, starting a family, or creating a side project. These are all long 5 year goals, right? What am I going to do in 5 years? Well, I want to be a manager. And again, we want to have those goals achievable. So if you don't think you can be a manager within that time frame, then let's not, right? All right, let's see what else is going on. Yeah, so 5 year plan, that's a harder one, right? You got to sit down. You got to really think about the 5 year plan. What does it mean to have a 5 year plan? What does it mean to you to have a 5 year plan? What are the goals are different, right? 1 year goal is definitely different. Like getting married goal, sure. You definitely want to plan your marriage, right? You want to plan for your marriage for sure. But I don't think that's a really good example. But Maybe buying a car, right? Or having a down payment for a car. It might not take you a year. It might take you 5. The job thing is pretty good. Again, keep it achievable. In 5 years, what can I strive for? And once you have that, what do? Right? Once you have that thought, you need to flush it out like we explained earlier. What's the goal? All right, here, let me do this. I can't type today. For example, my 1-year plan for this channel. I can't do it on viewership, right? That would be unrealistic. Maybe I want to do a full year of podcasting. That would be a goal that's achievable. And I think I can do that, right? All right, I just asked ChatGPT to give me a little bit more detail. Oh, here's great. 1-year plan could also mean focus on achievable objectives that lay the foundation for longer term plan. For example, personal, exercise 3 times a week, read a book in 12 books in a year, or learn a new hobby like cooking or painting. Professional, obtain a certification, improve a specific skill, coding, public speaking, or build a portfolio. Another way of doing it is the gaming connection. Set a goal to reach a specific level, master a class in Pax Dei, or join a new guild. So these are all aspects that are good for the 1 year, right? Notice that there's nothing grand about a 1 year. Right? Now, it could be grand if you've already laid the foundation and say, you know what, it's about time. In this next year, I'm going to finish it. So you have 1 year to finish it. It's reasonable. It's achievable. I want to keep that. I want to keep pounding those two lines. So what are the practical steps to create the 1 year plan? Identify your priorities. Focus on areas where you want to see immediate growth. Set SMART goals. And that's all capitalized. So ensure SMART is a project management technique, but I'm going to give it to you. And it's decent. It's a good way of starting your thought process. Ensure your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That's important. SMART. Let's say it one more time. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. For example, I will complete an outline for a user interface design course by June 30th. So I have the specific, I have the measurable, I am completing, I have the achievable. Can I complete an online user experience design course in the time period that I provided? Yes. So it's achievable. Is it relevant? Yeah, if I'm a coder, yes, it is very relevant. If I'm not, maybe I want to get into the business. So can I still do it? Yes, it's still relevant. Is it time bound? Yes, I'm giving myself a time of achievement. Do I hit myself or get down on myself if it's beyond June 30th? Like July 1st, I made it, but it wasn't June 30th. No, as a personal growth thing, no, it absolutely shouldn't. But you should strive for June 30th. You still achieved it. You still achieved it within a reasonable amount of time. So take the success. Celebrate your successes. Do not allow people to take your successes away from you. And if you're, but even if it's July 30th, take into account what happened in your life that it did. You couldn't meet the June 30th, so maybe there's a death in the family, God forbid. And you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna, I can't think, because a lot of it, depending on how close the relative was, you just can't think. So if you're a month late, my God, celebrate it. Practical steps to create a 1-year plan. Oh, that's SMART goals. Engage. So what's one thing you want to achieve by this time next year? And let's say it's not a private thought, but if you want, throw it in the community chat or the comment section. What's one thing you want to achieve? I gave you one thing I want to achieve. I want to actually podcast for 1 whole year. I do have another goal. I already put out 2 music videos. I want to keep putting out music videos. That number will change because I want to write the music, put it through Suno AI, and then present it to everybody. All right, let's see the 5-year plan. So those are 2 achievable things that I can do within a year. Right, but I got to be more specific with my second one, with the music videos. All right, so the 5-year or the midterm goals. Build upon short-term successes and create a pathway to broader, more ambitious objectives. So let's say in the first year, you said, I want to play Row, Row, Row Your Boat on the piano. And you achieve it, right? In 6 months, and you achieve it. Great. What happens the next 6 months? Let me play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star on the piano. Great. You achieve it. Boom. That's your first year. For your 5-year, you want to build upon all those short-term successes for a broader, more ambitious objective. I want to play Tchaikovsky on year 5. That's bold. Probably not going to happen. So keep it achievable. You might have a talent. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to disparage anybody. But my point is, if you just started to learn piano, more than likely you're not going to, in 5 years, you're not going to play Tchaikovsky or Brahms, maybe a Beethoven, depending on which symphony. Right? Maybe you want to go more contemporary. Maybe you can achieve those more contemporary songs. There are some really difficult piano songs out there in the last 24 years. So some examples: save for a major purchase, house or car, or develop a side hustle, or travel internationally. Say, you know what? I want to travel to Taiwan. I want to travel to Italy. I want to travel to, where insert country where you want to travel to. Save up the money. 5 years. You got the amount of money, and you got some spending money, right? You're not doing it in a year, but now you have a 5-year plan in order to really enjoy yourselves wherever you travel internationally. What else is a good example here? Here you go. Secure a leadership position, complete a degree or advanced training, or start a business. All very doable in 5 years. Gaming connections. Establish a leading role in a gaming community, organize major in-game events, or become content creator for your favorite game. A 5. That's a 5. I don't think Aiden knows I am casting, so am I casting? I am still casting, so I will respond to him. So everybody, Aiden, everybody. I didn't. Oh, by the way, you can put your Discord into the game, but you have to know their Discord name. So. All right. That should take care of that. I don't like to leave friends high and dry, so. All right, let's see. Let me move around a little bit because Pax Dei will log me. So it's at we were at gaming connections, right? Yeah, the content creator for your favorite game is, I think, a 1 year, right? I don't think that would be a 5 year. But I think you get the point on 5 year. So the practical steps to create it. Here's where you really need to sit down and really think about what you're doing in the next 5 years. Break down the journey into a yearly or quarterly achievement. Stay flexible. Recognize that life changes and your goals may need to adapt. Example, if I don't get promoted within 3 years, I'll explore opportunities at a new company. Create a vision board. I haven't seen vision boards in a long time, but they're okay. Use visual tools to keep your 5-year aspirations front and center. You always want to be working toward your goal, right? So if you lose, or if life gets in the way, you're going to have issues, right? Meaning achieving the goal. We talk about death and family, etc. So that's a good way to keep it visually in front of you. Maybe put reminders on your Outlook or your favorite software program. Maybe put it as your backdrop. You know, the vision board as your desktop. Let's see. And these are good questions even for interviews, because I think everybody has had the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And people are like, oh, yeah, CEO. I feel I'm going to get your position, my friend. That's not a good answer, by the way. Don't. All right, let's go to 10-year plans. 10-year. This is long-term visions, right? 10 years. Think about 10 years. It's so long from now, right? Nah, it's a blink of the eye. Focus on life-defining aspirations that align with your values and purposes. We've talked about values on this channel before. I think I'll revisit that because it's so important to understand where your values and beliefs come from, how to change them, or if you want to change them, how to change them. Sometimes you don't want to, that's fine. Okay, so what are the examples of 10 years? Building a family, retire early, or achieve a major personal milestone like running a marathon or writing a book. I can see that. How about professional? Become a thought leader in your industry. Start a nonprofit or expand your business internationally. Pretty cool. Gaming connections. Become a top tier player. Develop your own game or create a game related brand. All viable in 10 years. Practical steps to create a 10-year plan. Reflect on your values. Ensure that your goals align with what truly matters to you. If you deviate so far from meaning if your goal deviates so far from who you are at the core, you're not going to achieve it. It would be self-defeating. And one thing that you don't want to be is self-defeating, because it's bad enough you have naysayers whispering in your ear. You don't need you yourself to be part of that group. All right, so what else? Practical steps. All right, so we're creating the 10-year plan. Envision your legacy, or envision the legacy you want to think about the impact you want to have on your community, family, and industry. I would put it family, community, and industry. I would reorder them. I would reprioritize that. We'll get that to get to that in the values. All right. So example, in 10 years, I want to be known for creating meaningful content that inspires others. That's a pretty cool. Is it realistic? Is it achievable? You still want to be realistic and achievable. Balance ambition with realism. Big dream. Not dream big. But ensure the path to your goals feels achievable. Again, I keep saying this, right? And it's a running theme through years 1, 5, and 10. I just pick years 1, 5, and 10. You can pick 3, 5, 8, whatever you want, right? This is just easy. However, you want to balance that ambition with realism. I want to be an astronaut in 10 years. A great ambition. I really hope you can do it. Where are you in your life? What are your skills? What's your education? How do we select the astronauts today? Did you start in year 1 and 5 or 10? That's a key too. Keep building 1, 5, 10, 1, 5, 10 in each of your goals and be really defined on. Take the time to sit down and really define this is your life. This isn't some passing fancy. This isn't some goal that it's not flippant. Your life means everything to the universe, to God. Planning it out is such a small step. I wish, I'll say it. I wish we could teach kids in school reason, logic, and the ability to look at what their life can and will be. Give them the dream big. Where do you want to be 10 years after high school? Do you know how many 18-year-olds don't know? I didn't. Hell, let's go to a 5th grade, right? Where will you be 10 years from now? A lot of people don't do introspection well, but this is a good exercise, and I'm very passionate about self-improvement, and I know people don't have time. They always say, I don't have time to write things down, think about it. Your time is the most valuable asset and currency you will have in this world. Any time that you allow slip by without being productive, just scrolling, think about it. Now, you're listening to this podcast, but why? I'm trying to add value. I'm trying to make your time worth sitting down and listening to me. Yeah, Pax Dei is a game, for sure. And sometimes we have fun. Well, most of the time we have fun. But really take the time to sit down in a quiet room. Don't think, or go to a coffee shop with headphones on. Get a coffee, sit down. Observe some people as well, because this is, and I will go over that in another podcast as well. So that's it's a really good technique, people watching. And it gets your mind into a tune, right? With yourself. Never be envious, never be jealous of people. Everybody's human. I want to say it so much. I want to yell it from the rooftops. You are you. Be the best version of you. I wish I could end it there, but I got more for you. Here's some key tips for setting and achieving goals. Reflect and adjust regularly. They're not static. Review your goals monthly, quarterly, or yearly, and track the project and make adjustments. This means you're taking the time, again, your valuable time, to look at them and say, oh man, I'm not gonna meet that. Why did I set it? Be introspective. Change it, modify it. Remember that a goal should be achievable. You want to celebrate your successes. Don't set the bar too low. Like, I want to step through a door. I want to step through 100 doors this year. And depending on the next point of your specificity within that achievement, it may be just too low of a bar. Seek accountability. Share your goals with a trusted friend or mentors who can provide support and encouragement. I'm going to read that last part. Support and encouragement. Don't go to people who will naysay. Oh, you can't make a company. What do you know about making a company? You can't open a business. Those people, depending on who they are, just move them aside. Don't listen to them. Your voice, your inner monologue will probably be fighting with you the entire time. I want to do this. You can't do this. I want to do that. That's your inner monologue. You don't need it from external sources. Celebrate milestones. Acknowledge the small wins along the way to stay motivated. The universe will not penalize you for celebrating a success. Some of us grew up where we didn't win. We were told, don't celebrate. You might not win the next time. I don't know why I listened. Well, probably because I was a young lad. Didn't know any better. Wasn't taught critical thinking. Wasn't taught how to reason through comments or research on my own. Not until later in life. There were a few teachers spattering through middle school and high school. Not until my doctorate's degree did I really start to form opinions based off of research, really critically thinking and taking apart even statistics. Focus on the journey. While goals are important, don't overlook the value of the process and the experiences along the way. I can't say this enough. This is another great point. The goal is great. Once you reach it, you're like, yeah, I've attained it. What does that do for you? Well, let's say it's a degree. I got the degree. Okay. You got the degree. Celebrate it. Absolutely. 100%. But what it took to get the degree is the value of the degree. Right? The degree is just amazing. And we'll talk about college and its worth and how you should even consider college even as you age in a later podcast. Goals are important. Don't overlook the value of the process and experiences along the way. I wanted to say it again. Okay. I think I've pounded the desk a little too much. So for personal goals, what would be 1, 5, and 10 year? Hold on to it. Think about it. And then come back and comment on it when you see me again. And I would be happy to reach out to anybody, either on LinkedIn or X, and we can discuss the 5-year plans and 10-year plans. And it will be impressive when you go into an interview if you have to say, when they ask, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Make sure you have a business goal in mind. I don't think they may or may not, depending on what you're interviewing for, want the person. Right? And I wouldn't recommend personal declarations within an interview setting. For the most part, in 99% of the time. All right, with that, I've taken a lot of time. I know I didn't play much, but some key takeaways with Pax Dei I want you to take away is there's potions. It doesn't matter the level of the potion, it has an application, so keep that in mind. The higher the potion, not necessarily the more powerful. For example, the potions of healing that provide immediate boosts to your health are useful in certain situations. The one potion that allows you to refresh or regenerate faster has other applications. Find the application. That's true for every item in Pax Dei, by the way. We'll go into that more in detail, I think, in another podcast because it's so important. All right. What else did we talk about tonight? So we talked about how players and developers craft stories. Stories are so important for life. We get entertained by them. We get taught by them. Be a storyteller. You are a storyteller. Now's the time to sit down and write about it. Remember, I said this just a moment ago, and it's true for stories as well. Your life stories are worth writing down. And some of us just don't have the ability or the patience to tell a story in our mind while we're telling a story, or craft a story in our mind while we're telling a story. Some people can do it. They are just artists. I cannot. So I will be using this myself. I think it's a good idea. The other thing we went over is storytelling in MMOs and the light and the art of storytelling in work and life. So remember the key elements to focus on. Keep it concise, identify the main takeaway or message, and connect the story to the listener's perspective. All good advice. Any comments in the comment section are welcome. And we will be casting tomorrow night at 8. I'll think of a theme to do tomorrow, and then I'll post it on my X posting. I don't know what we call those now. But until then, that was a long episode. Be safe, everybody. Be kind to everybody. And until tomorrow, have a good night and have a good day. No matter where you are.
With every step, a lesson learned. From fire's heat to the fields I've turned. The blade and bow, the forge and flame. I sharpen my skills, I play the game. Each day brings a challenge I must face. I train my hands with careful grace. From alchemy's art to the hunter's way, I'll find the strength to seize the day. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. From the herbs I find to the iron I mold, each lesson learned is a story told. The stars above, they guide my hand. As I hone my craft, I take my stand. In the quiet woods, in the mountains chill, I push myself, I shape my will. With each new tool and every lore, I'm stronger now than I was before. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. The road is long, but I won't turn back. The lessons I learned keep me on track. With each new skill, the stronger I grow. In the face of the storm, I let my courage show. I've tasted defeat, I felt the sting, but I rise again. with each new spring. For knowledge is power, and wisdom the key. I'm forging my path, I'm breaking free. The skill of survival, the will to thrive. In a world where the strong survive, I'll face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight.